Good morning, folks. And here's a little news story that popped up yesterday. I saw it in my feed. I read about it. I looked at it and thought, nah, this is old news. This is unimportant. There's nothing worth talking about these days about Mass Effect. And this is just not worthy of your time. Now, I did look at it one more time. Thought, okay, maybe I can talk about other stuff that's related to the post. So someone on Kotaku found someone from Bioware, Mr. John Ebenger, who worked for Bioware and worked on Mass Effect, and he made the comment that something like 92% of Mass Effect players were Paragon. We put a lot of work into the Renegade content too. So he's feeling sad that, hey, we put all this work into the extra player choice options and barely anyone played it, or not as much as we would have liked. Now, I'm not sure where he's getting that number. The numbers that were released, this was, I don't know, maybe a decade ago. This number comes closer to the 82% who people played as Male Shepard. If you actually look at the Paragon and Renegade values of the infographic, this is one of the more famous infographics, it's closer to 94.5%. And plus, we don't know exactly if that's full Paragon, because in Mass Effect 3, you have the ability to max out Paragon rather early based off your class progression and your bonuses from that. So you could actually choose Renegade options. Now, for me, I've played the games into their entirety with Male and Female Shepard, with Paragon and Renegade. Why wouldn't I? I wanted to get the full experience. But obviously not everyone does. And additionally, not everyone plays it the second time through. So 42% of players in Mass Effect 3 only went through it a second time. So why would that be, you think? Could it be something to do with the ending? Could it be something to do with, gee, I don't want to play this thing anymore for whatever reason? There's lots of reasons for that. So this is sort of a non-news issue. It's trying to strum up information about a brand we like. And just goes to show you the average character. There's lots of stats that I find questionable here. But if these are accurate, this is what we got. So, for example, the most popular story decisions or people you bring on with you would be Garrus, Liara, and James, which I find odd because, well, why would you have James in the top three? And in this part of the numbers, we see who is the survival rate of each squad member. So you really have to think in terms of who's popular. And interestingly enough, they have a stat for who's most popular. That ends up being Liara, Garrus, and Vega. Now, why is that? Well, we have to then, again, think of when you get these characters. You get James right off the bat, then you get Liara, then you get Garrus. So it would make sense that you have the top three. Now, I'm assuming this is all then based off after storytelling decisions. And the reason is because the gameplay of Mass Effect 3 does not lend itself to you thinking, okay, I'm going to need this character for this scenario. Like you are forced to bring Liara, for example, down to Thessia. Okay, so you already have a biotic. Maybe you might want a tech expert, but there's really no reason to have a tech expert in comparison to Mass Effect 1, where you either had Tali or Kaidan being your tech expert because you couldn't hack anything if you didn't have them with you. So you wanted to bring them along. So that's another component of the game design getting in the way of strategy, tactics, or just storytelling in general, and why you'd have a certain complement of companions with you. So it doesn't really help why these stats are the way they are. They don't explain enough, and there's lots of reasons why they're not effective. So while it is possible in this person's metrics that 90% of Mass Effect players are Paragon, what's more interesting to me is that, well, more people played as Male Shepard than Female Shepard. That is where we get a lot more information, or a lot more interesting information. Why are people playing Male Shepard more? What's the point? Maybe because most of the people who buy the game are guys, and they identify with a guy easier. Not to say I didn't play Female Shep. I like Jennifer Hale, and I usually play her as a Paragon. That's just me. So everyone has their own preferences, but look at where we're at right now. So I don't think Bioware is going to actually change the way they do their next game. If there is one, they're still going to have a male-female version of the protagonist the same way they did with Dragon Age 2. as streamlined as that game was. So these numbers really don't tell us much about what Bioware is going to be doing next. It does sort of put into perspective the amount of work they go into, but that's the kind of system they set up. If they're going to have male and female, and they're going to have Paragon and Renegade, they have to build a game along those lines. Is there a better way to do it? There always is. I would argue that Alpha Protocol, as I always do, is the more superior, more streamlined, or easier to write and code and appreciate. You play as a guy, and he is a spy, and he is a spy who has 3 or 4 reactions to everything, and that's flavors of James Bond, flavors of Jason Bourne. So maybe the next Space Alliance person, or who knows, is going to be an alien Turian, an alien Asari. Who knows? That would streamline things even more. Having an Asari. Can't go wrong there. Monogendered, 1 or 2 voice actors. That would be very similar to Inquisition. You hire multiple voice actors for exactly the same role, and it's exactly the same lines. So it makes things simpler. It gives you more customization, and I guess it benefits the audience more. It really depends. It would make production easier because all you do is just hire a second person to do exactly the same thing, which already works. So who knows? It doesn't confuse things much with romances because everyone's going to be bisexual. I'm sure Bioware is going to do that too. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's just a bunch of stats that people might not get very accurately and don't quite understand the amount of effort that goes into making these things. And Bioware just wants to sort of fit the bill in general without actually understanding, hey, maybe we should just make a game where there's a male protagonist. And we have a better ethical system than just blue and red. And they haven't shown us that yet. They should probably go back to the drawing board, not just with the dialogue system and the choices, but with gameplay as well. And then we get more intelligent understanding why you have squad mates, why you would choose a certain squad with a certain set of skills as opposed to just your favorites. I don't think that's what Bioware should be doing. They should not be just making things because people want, more Asari or more this or that. They should be making games that have more gameplay options and explaining why you should choose a certain loadout, why you should customize your weapon a certain way, why you should have a technical person as opposed to a biotic, etc., etc. So this is what I hope Bioware has been doing. I doubt it's happening, but that's all I really got from this article. It's pretty useless, but hopefully Bioware is learning their lesson, improving on gameplay, improving on choices, doing a better morality system, maybe streamlining their character creation phase so it's not a big giant mess, and you're not making choices that no one actually cares for. And there's actual ethical choices to be made aside from being nice or being brutally efficient. So thanks for listening, guys. Have yourself a great day.